Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Peter P. here, owner operator of Vegas Family Solar here in the deserts of Southern Nevada. Today is July 4th, 2024. Happy birthday, America. Hey, I wanted to make a video and talk about the recent failures in the solar industry. We recently had a very large company, Titan Solar, go under and close their doors permanently. And I really wanted to bring this up because this is happening across the entire industry. There's people folding, small shops, big shops, the publicly traded companies like Sunrun. Their stock is down big time and they're under a lot of pressure and they might fold as well. So I wanted to give some insights, my personal opinion as to what's happening and bring some clarity. Now, some of these companies like Titan Solar, and I know quite a few people who do work for them. I know the owner's story. I know the marketers who supply Titan Solar with leads and business. So I'm very familiar with the entire business model. So I'm going to do my best to kind of break that down. And hopefully this helps you make a decision and just bring some clarity. And I find it interesting because I'm in the industry myself. Now, first and foremost, I own Vegas Family Solar. I am the founder. I've been in the industry for 27 years, managing land, labor, and capital, designing and installing rather large solar systems and non-solar as well. Solar is quite an easy installation. It's very simple. It's basically year one when you go to a 4 or 5 year apprenticeship program like I have. It's really basic stuff. So I'm going to give my input as to what happened with Titan Solar. Now, just like Warren Buffett states, when the tide goes out, you find out who's swimming naked. And that's an analogy to really talk about when rates go up. And you'll be able to see who is over levered and who is taking advantage of a booming industry, but at the same time, not preparing themselves for any changes in the marketplace, like rising rates, consumer sentiment, rising prices, those types of things. And they just really stuck to that path like it was going to last forever. And of course, nothing lasts forever, not in this world at least. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these solar companies, they were making their money solely based on cheap money. I mean, the Federal Reserve had rates negative in real terms and in nominal terms, extremely low. So that allowed financing to just be rather abundant and anyone can finance. The money is cheap. It made perfect sense. Now, there's an old saying in Wall Street, don't confuse brains with the bull market. Okay. And unfortunately, a lot of people are running around smart, or they were running around smart like they are geniuses. Well, money is free and the economy is booming. Everyone's going to make money. But will you still be around when rates go up and when the market shifts? Now, with Titan Solar, I'm familiar with the owners and the management. And from what I know, and if anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments, that the people who started Titan Solar, they didn't come from the industry. Meaning they weren't raised as tradesmen. They weren't raised as electricians. They didn't go through a 4 or 5 year apprenticeship program and work under a journeyman and then graduate through the ranks as foreman and general foreman and go through all your upgrade classes on code, on theory, on application, you name it. I mean, these guys were just marketers and salespeople. And they went out and they found what's called a qualifier. And that qualifier is somebody like me who would actually qualify to be able to take the electrical contractor's exam and qualified enough to actually pass it. Now, these folks went out and they found that qualifier, and it appears to me that they just pushed that qualifier aside and ran this organization as a peer sales organization. Now, that's a huge problem in the industry because we are tradesmen, we're craftsmen. We build things, we fasten things, we terminate things. I mean, there's more to our industry than just selling a product. Now, that's a big part. Without selling the product, well, you got no product to deliver to the end consumer. So sales is certainly extremely important. But if you don't have a culture in craftsmanship and managing real working men and women who are busting their hump for you on rooftops in the blazing heat, if you don't have an appreciation for that, then you're going to have a lot of trouble as time goes on, and that was proven to be the case with Titan. Now, unfortunately, when rates were super low, everybody was making money, and these guys thought that would last forever, and it appears they didn't build up a war chest, and they didn't bring in talent who actually come from the industry, who are craftsmen, and who know how to manage these huge projects. They just kept going as a sales industry and stuffing all that money in their pockets as quickly as it comes in. Now, when Titan Solar would hire men, and I've met a lot of them, and I've interviewed quite a few of them, they told me how much money that they were making. And let's say that these guys were making 25, 26 bucks an hour, that type of thing. And that $25, $26 an hour is really the average for all the companies that are looking for the cheapest labor, meaning you have a strong back, can you tolerate the heat? Great, we'll start you off at 20 bucks an hour and you can move up from there. Now the challenge is that if that is the norm, that pay rate is the norm for a lot of the contractors who are just trying to stuff as much money into their pockets as possible, ultimately you're going to create an environment of resentment from your labor. Because your labor now knows that you're making buco bucks, right? You're showing up in Lambos and G-Wagons. You're showing up to the job sites, right? Well, that's a bit pretentious, and you're just throwing that in the face of your labor. And your labor's on the roof thinking, wow, you got all that money, and I've been asking for a raise. Okay, I quit. Because I can go to the shop down the road, and they're going to pay me the same thing, or maybe I get another buck or 75 cents out of them. And that just happens over and over again. Now, to hire people is very expensive. To hire real tradesmen and craftsmen who actually know what they're doing is even more expensive. And it appears that Titan wasn't interested in hiring real craftsmen, just people with strong backs. Now, that's great because those people are getting their foot in the door and learning a trade that they can grow and prosper in. But the money stopped at, let's say, 27, 28 bucks an hour. That was it. Unfortunately, when you have working men and women and they're disgruntled, you can go back in history and check this out, they're going to revolt against you. When you hire men and women to do physical labor that requires skills that very few people have, and you pay them very little money, unfortunately, they're going to stick it to you, and they're going to try. And if you have crews running around doing half-assed work, shoddy work, not caring about what the future holds for that installation, guess what? You're going to have a lot of problems the next year or two, and you have a lot of warranties to service, and that's going to drain your war chests because honoring warranties costs a ton of money. I mean, to honor our warranties, it can easily cost me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Now, if I only made $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 of profit on that job, and I got to go honor a warranty because one of my guys screwed up, well, guess what? I'm under a lot of financial pressure now because, hey, we're in business to make money, not to lose money, right? So first thing is that they treated their labor horribly wrong. You got to treat your men so that they're enthused and they're excited to go to work every day and bust their hump for you. And the way you do that is you pay them a good wage. Now, my foreman, he makes great money. I mean, I pay him great money. My journeyman electricians, they make great money as well. And that's in hopes to keep them enthused to keep coming back to work. Because when they're making, six figures, $120,000 a year, guess what? Those men and women are going to invest more in their families. They're going to buy a house. The kids might go to private school. They're going to look forward to vacations. They're going to have a standard of living that they're going to get used to, and they're not going to want to lose that standard of living. So in hopes that will bring more loyalty and we can keep doing business and working together and being prosperous together. But if you pay them peanuts, well, guess what? They're going to dump you as soon as they can. And you're going to have a culture of a company where they pay very little money and everyone just disgruntled, not happy, screwing off, not doing what they're told because the money's not good anyways. And if they get fired, they go right down the street and get another job that's identical for about the same amount of money. So you have to treat your men extremely well, and that means paying them well. In addition to that, Titan did not reinvest in their employees, meaning you want to send them to school. You want them to go to upgrade classes that you pay for. Okay, you got to pay for that. To reinvest in your employees so you can get that compounding effect as you go forward with your company, creating loyalty, a culture of getting better, enthusiastic people, that type of thing. Titan didn't do any of that. They treated their employees like crap. But that's what happens when you come from a sales organization, a pure marketing standpoint. You have no idea what it means to work a hard day's labor, much less, a year or 2 or 3 or 15 or 20, like some of us. So they didn't have the concepts that were needed to show their appreciation to their working men and women. It was completely foreign to them, and they didn't know anything about it. 2 is that interest rates were extremely low. So selling solar was really, really easy. And like I said, don't confuse brains with the bull market. So these guys were out selling, we're going to be rich forever. But not knowing that, hey, when rates go up, and they will, how is that going to affect our ability to provide solar to our customers? You had sales guys running around, completely ripping people off. I mean, if you look at the contractors board here in Nevada and look up Titan, I mean, they have a whole list of complaints from abandonment to fraud to poor craftsmanship over and over and over again. So the financial fraud, that lays directly at the feet of the sales organization that they hired. Now, prior to 2024, Titan was out hiring third-party marketing firms who basically closed the deal and then handed off to Titan, who was the electrical contractor. Now, when you have these cowboys just running around town making promises that they can't fulfill because their sole incentive is the commission, well, guess what? They fell for the trap that, hey, I just need to make more money, a little white lie. Next thing you know, it's full-blown fraud. And that's just the way it goes, right? So Titan was not checking their sales organizations. As long as that sales guy brought a deal to Titan, no matter what the price, no matter what lies were told, Titan was ready to jump on board, make that money, and stuff those dollars in their pockets as quickly as they can. That created a culture of basically a bunch of sleazeballs running around ripping people off. In addition to that, when you have a solar company, a bona fide solar installation company, you are an electrical contractor. Like I'm an electrical contractor, and yeah, we do solar, we do battery backup, we do generators, but also, we do a lot of other things too. Solar is just a small part, maybe not a small part, but it's just a part of what we do. When you run a solar installation company, you are an electrical contractor. You're managing land, labor, and capital. It's very expensive to do so. There's a lot of risk involved because if your guys make a mistake, you got to send professionals to go back and fix it. And with Titan, they made a ton of mistakes. And since Titan didn't hire people who actually knew what they were doing, they knew the how, at least for the most part, they knew the how, but they didn't know the why. So when you know the how, you can install it, but if there's a problem and you don't know the why, you don't have any idea how to go back and troubleshoot that and fix it. And that's where the professionals come in. We know the how, we know the why, and when there's a problem, and problems do happen no matter what you do, it is construction, your experience and your training can take you to the right point and address that and remedy it almost immediately. Like, you know what it is right out the gate. But if you don't go to school for this, and you've never been trained, and your company's not reinvesting in you for you to go to school and learn, you're just at a loss. So interest rates rising decimated them. Titan hiring people who just weren't skilled people helped decimate them. Their sales organizations completely screwed them because these guys are lying out their teeth. I mean, I met some of the digital marketers who used to provide leads for them. I spoke to them personally, and they would tell me, oh, no, it's all Titan's fault, right? Titan did it. But you look at the complaints, no, it's the sales organization. You guys are just as responsible. So unfortunately, Titan fell, and there's going to be a lot more that are going to fall. Sunrun might fall. I mean, their stock is down 30% on the year. I mean, it looks horrible for them. They're bleeding money like you wouldn't believe. And I'm going to talk to you about that briefly as well. Installing solar is a double-edged sword. One, that it's a relatively quick and simple job, takes a day or two. Compare that to jobs that take me, my crews, 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks, 4 months even. Now that's a big job, and that takes a lot more work. But the challenge is with a job that only takes 1 day is that the contractor has an incentive to tell their guys to hurry, keep moving. We're going to pay you per watt rather than per hour. So when you encourage your guys to move quicker, go faster, try to make as much money as possible, well, you're beginning to poison the well because you are robbing your workers the ability to take pride in their work and learn more about what they're doing, and you're replacing that with hurry up and make more money. So when you incentivize your guys to rush, guess what? Things aren't going to come out very well. In addition to that, since a solar job only takes one day to complete, like 90% of them, solar companies do their best to try to do multiple jobs in 1 day. And that's a challenge because there's a lot of work in setting up for a solar job. Like you got to set up, you need trailers, men, trucks, like you got to set up. It's a big ordeal. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to break down now. Now you got to break everything down, clean up the big mess that we created, and get out of there properly. That within itself costs the contractor a tremendous amount of money because setting up takes time and energy and money. Breaking down takes time, money, and energy. And the more you set up and break down, the more company vehicles you're going to need. Let's say a solar job only took 2 weeks to do. Well, how many trailers do you need for that job? A trailer that you hook up to the back of your truck that delivers the goods. You just need one, right? One trailer to drop things off and that same trailer to pick it up. Now, but let's say that you are doing 2, 3 jobs a day with one crew. 2 jobs, that's going to be more realistic. Well, now the need for company vehicles is doubled. So now you need multiple company trucks, multiple company trailers. Those company trucks and trailers need men to man them, which are another expense. The note on those vehicles and those trailers are an expense. The insurance on those is an expense. The maintenance on those things are an expense. And now you need a warehouse to house these vehicles and secure those vehicles is an expense. So it is a double-edged sword that the quicker you are, the more capital you need. Capital equipment, like trucks and things like that, tools, all those things. Now, you're chasing the money, but you're incurring a tremendous amount of risk and expenses with these new company vehicles and new employees you must hire. So it is a double-edged sword. Titan is the poster child for how not to run an electrical contracting company. You need people at the top who've been in the industry for 20 plus years, and they have experience of managing men on a large scale, who know the theory, who've been to school for this. Hiring quality craftsmen to do the job so you never have to honor a warranty. And if there is a problem, your men can figure it out quickly, remedy it, and move on. Also, the sales organizations here in Nevada have been illegal. They've been wiped out. Nevada state legislature said, hey, no more outside salespeople. They must work for the electrical contractor. That's a good thing. That's going to help the industry. So I hope this helps. I really want to give you my 2 cents on it. There's a lot of changes in the industry. Going forward, it's my prediction, it's going to be the small shops that survive, like doing 30, 50 jobs a month. If you start expanding beyond that, well, guess what? You need to triple your trailers, your trucks, I need to be a warehouse, and your costs are going to go through the roof, which means you have to charge the consumer a tremendous amount of money. And the smaller shop who doesn't have that much overhead can come in and say, listen, we can do the deal for 15, 20% cheaper, and you'll get a better outcome. And so it's my opinion that the future belongs to the smaller shops who are not looking to outgrow what they believe is beyond, like, get ahead of their skis, as the old saying goes. Hope this helps. If you have any comments or questions, let me know, and I'd love to address them and hear you guys' feedback. Y'all take care.